welcome to Success Techniques. We're back again discussing more models and strategies for your career and your business. And again, I have Abbass Zadeh with me. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent. Not too bad. Glad to be here.
So we've discussed so many models and techniques so far.
Yes.
And what is your thoughts? And anything kind of sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the one that we discussed on a couple of shows back was the mirror model, which was a little bit new to me.
Yeah.
So I did try that a little bit, whether it be with people that work for me or whether I'm going to meetings. And it kind of works.
Yeah.
It kind of works. You know, if somebody's talking to you and they've crossed their arms and you cross your arms back and then they open their arms, you open your arms back and you just become in sync.
Exactly.
Then you start having a bit more of an understanding. So I have tried it.
Cool.
I have seen it work. But that's the one that we spoke about that I hadn't done. But all of the other models, obviously, again, like we discussed, we do on a daily and I continue using them. And now I'm more aware that I'm using a technique model.
And you're not necessarily mentioning it. Like one thing I have to
100% not,
say that when I do coaching, and you obviously have that experience, that you're not aware that I'm using these techniques with you, and I'm not going to label them. Sometimes I might do, like even the Wheel of Life, I never used that with you because we came with specific, issues. I don't use the same techniques, and not all of the time I'm going to mention them. But there is definitely a tool or a model behind whatever I'm saying or doing. And I know recently somebody asked me, actually this was on DM, I get a lot of referrals or just people questioning me about, coaching.
Yep.
And they were like, so what is your cost? And I gave them my charges and this, and they're like, well, it's a bit too much for a chat. And I was like, well, it's not just a chat. And even if it seems like a chat, I mean, even though I say this as a coach, you know from the experience that, when you're in coaching, there's so many strategies and techniques, and there's an open lens and a different perspective. And honestly speaking, if you listen to all of these self-development specialists, when you even just open up an idea to somebody which is different, it can change their entire world and life.
Exactly that. I mean, because I could have a chat with a friend of mine, with a family member, but then the conversation that me and you have is like miles apart.
Exactly.
It's miles apart because a family member of a friend, they will comfort you, they will agree with you,
Maybe
they want to
even
make
just
sure you're okay.
validate whatever you're saying.
Whereas with you, you're too tough to comfort me and make me sure I'm okay.
Absolutely.
A coach is there to make sure that they help you understand what's going on in your own mind. A chat is someone going, oh no, are you okay? Everything's going to be fine, don't worry about it. Whether it's you, it's like, hey, this is it.
You're in the hot seat.
Are you ready? Exactly, you're in the hot seat. So it's completely different. Completely different.
No, that's true. And a lot of people are a bit confused and they are concerned as to, what does that entail? But coaching is definitely an experience and a journey, and you have to be in it to actually understand what it's about. And you might even go away thinking that, oh, it doesn't really help. But I am a catalyst for a lot of change and transformation, and people need to understand that. And I think if they are more aware of it, they realize that the top performers is not just people, that are there thinking that, oh, there has to be an issue. That's why people are okay to say that, yes, I have a coach, because top performers have coaches consistently in order to be accountable and in order to maintain that peak performance, which is what we're sharing for free.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, when you're sitting one-to-one, it's really powerful.
100%. 100%.
So one of the techniques I've got here is rapid stress elimination. We know in business, we know in companies, and obviously you must know that there's a lot of stress having your own company, your business, or even working generally. You're in an environment that's not necessarily your own. It's probably even more so. So how do you, basically eliminate the stresses in your life and the emotion, the feeling, and take down that pressure? Well, one way we sort of say is that to eliminate the word, as I always say, that your language is so important. Instead of saying, I'm stressed today, say that, I had a challenging day today, or it was busy. Because sometimes, with a challenge, you can overcome it. Do you understand? Are you working towards something to, change it? So your language is really important, because sometimes, just saying you're stressed and being stressed can really drag you down. And that's really, one way of doing it. And changing your thoughts and calming the whole idea of stress, in a different way makes it really, really different. And analyze your emotion when you're stressed and try and, change that to, like we said, to flip the script. So when you are emotional, because you're stressed or whatever, then you've got to maybe drink more, rest more, breathe even. A lot of people, they get anxious when they're stressed because they're actually not breathing properly. So all of these things are really important. So could you share, like, is there something that you do, or do you still have those levels of stress where you can't calm it down?
I still have them levels of stress, 100%. I think in the line of business that I'm in, and, you know, the endless amount of phone calls that come in and the people that you have to speak to, and obviously with my line of business with chauffeuring, the one thing you never have control of is the roads.
Yeah.
So if there's been an accident, a car broken down, the M25 is shut, your car gets a flat tire, you know, all of these stuff is going to make you become late, which means that you're not going to be able to deliver a service, or something's bound to go wrong. So the stress levels goes up and up. I mean, the only one thing that I've come to realize in business is that once you surround yourself with people that are on your level, or their abilities onto a certain level, and they can think on their feet, they can do for themselves, that takes away half of the stress that you have.
Okay.
So I know, for example, for a fact that I've got such a strong team of people working for me. So if something is going to go wrong, or something has gone wrong, I'm not going to be bearing all that stress myself, because my guys are like, right, this is how we're going to fix it. This is how we're going to do it. Of course, that's...
So you have the team around you.
Have the team around you. I mean, the other things that I've come to realize is that I'm a type of person that I don't drink a lot of water. So I've come to realize in the last year or so, especially when I was working, before I started my own company, longer than a year now, I had my marketing manager who always said to me, I never see you drink water. Drink water. It's good for you. It will calm you down and keep you relaxed.
Exactly.
It will keep you hydrated. It will do X, Y, and Z. But I used to be just like drinking tea, drinking coffee, or having a fizzy drink, because for me it was the sugar, the energy that I needed to keep me going throughout the day. So I've started to drink water a lot more, and that definitely helps with the stress level, I've come to realize as well.
It's so important. I just actually finished doing a health and nutrition show, even though I'm not a nutritionist, but when you work with your mind, you realize that in order to perform, you need to have that mind, body, as well as the thought generally, and your health is really important. And the brain is actually, I research a lot, and the brain is actually, you know, majority of the, you know, capacity is water. So for it to actually manage, like you just mentioned, and to perform, you might think that, oh, stress is because of the actual occasion or the situation. But when your body is not in keep, you don't have the rest, like you said, you don't have the water, you don't have that, you know, that intake that you require for your body to manage, then the stress becomes even more. So we have to take care of ourselves. Little things like that does make a difference. So even with the mind, you have to understand that your body, if it's not functioning right because you're not eating properly, you're not sleeping and resting, and all of these things, they do play a factor. You know, you being extra tired, you're going to get moody a lot quicker and easier, and you might not be able to switch out of that mode, you know, like how you could normally. So all of these factors are really important, and I think people that are high performers, that's why they exercise, they wake up early, or they meditate, they do yoga, and you might think that, oh, that's a lot to do. But anything at the beginning is difficult, and then towards the middle, it's a habit. Exactly, it becomes manageable. And to be honest, like, I really feel that in life, and I know that listening to all of these techniques and these strategies and tools, whatever you may call it, people be like, well, we've heard it, we've done a few of it, but you've got to be strict and militant. You really have to. And you got to motivate yourself, and not many people will do that. And a lot of this sounds basic, but when you actually put it into practice and you take, you know, all of that, if not some of it, and put it into your daily life, there's no way on earth that you're not going to be like a top performer. Absolutely not. 100%,
100%. And just going on to the wordings, for example, that you said. I mean, I know, for example, I am the type that if I am having a stressful day, I say to myself, it's a stressful day, and it's going wrong, and it's going this, and it's going that. But I know whenever my team talk about it, and my team, I'm like, oh no, that's just a challenge. It's just a stumbling block. It's this. So I'm a lot more positive when they're telling me about it, and I'm telling them, no.
And it changes
your mindset. It's not stressful. It's just a challenge. It's this, it's that. But when I am by myself and I've got it, and I'm like, well, how many times have I rung you up? And you're like, what's wrong? I can hear it in the sound of your voice. And I'm like, I'm stressed. You're like, it's not stress. What is it? Or what's challenged you? So we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
When my team around me are talking like that, I tell them it's just a challenge. It's just a stumbling block. We're going to overcome it. This is how we're going to go around it. But when you are alone, sometimes it's hard. It is stress. So it's being able to play with the minds in yourself, and, you know, in your mindset.
Well, we do give the best advice, so we don't normally work it ourselves. So the next stage is to actually, you know, practice what we preach.
100%.
And when it becomes more of us, and I try to do that, whatever I speak about, that's why I'm so passionate.
Goes to the technique that we talk about I forgot exactly what the technique is, but when you talk to yourself.
Yeah, the self-talk.
Self-talk.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. When you have your self-talk and you sit there and you stop and you think and you go, all right, it's not that stressful. This is what's happened. It's self-talk. That self-talk is the best. Out of all the techniques we've discussed, to me, I think self-talk
really
is the most important
No,
one.
it really is.
100% is the most important one. But even when you are stressed and then you stop and you're having self-talk and you calm yourself down and you start thinking about it.
Put things into perspective, because normally we blow things out of proportion as well, and that stress becomes more bigger than what it really is. So that's why I always say, give me the actual statement that you're saying. What is it really? You know, we go through the whole process of whatever the issue is, and we bring it down, and you know, at the end of the day, it's like nothing's coming right for me, no one's going well for me, and all of these generalizations, distortions, exactly. And I'm like, okay, hang on, exactly. Let's bring it down. Let's, you know.
Okay, but you know what? There are so many people out there, though. I mean, I don't want to name, but I know of friends or I know of people that continuously have this, but can't seem to get out of the mindset. What are they going to do?
Well, you see, sometimes it's a payoff, you know, that they have from it, which you and I don't see. Like maybe you are the kind of person that doesn't want to be stuck. I'm personally also quite positive. I don't want to be stuck in a rut, and there's no payoff for me to being that way. But other people, you might not see it. When they are in that downturn spiral, you know, then they turn to their friends, they get attention or whatever it may be, that it's a payoff. To be in that mode, to be constantly moaning, complaining. You do have people like that. They get into a habit of being in that way, or being, you know, sad, depressed, whatever it may be. And they might not realize it, or sometimes they do. But there's always a payoff for every single thing that we do, and we don't realize that. And when you make that person aware of it, whether they like it or not, then they will have to change, or they realize it's not fair that they're carrying on that way. It's not fair to themselves or other people. And eventually they do lose people around them as well, because, you know, not everyone is able to handle that kind of work or that kind of, you know, displacement in, you know, that person constantly having an issue, which is moaning, complaining, or the whole world's come to an end because of one issue and that's it, nothing works out for them. They can never see the positive. It's not just a habit, it becomes then a belief, it becomes the language, and then with that they have people around them that surrounds them. It becomes like a triangle as to, you know, they are the ones that's been persecuted, their friends becomes the one who is, and they're the victim, and the other person is like helping them. You know, there is a drama circle basically. So in transactional analysis, when we, you know, sort of realize that there's a drama circle between us and the other person, then, you know, that's what keeps that friendship going. And when I've stepped out of myself in certain situations personally where I wasn't in that drama, I got myself out of that victim mode. I became more confident. I became more, you know, self-sufficient and not needing people. Then other people felt like, you know, I was overly confident, borderline arrogance, for example, and they've kept themselves away from me. So these sort of things do happen.
I get that a lot.
Which is actually going to go on to the next topic.
Yeah, I get that a lot, because when you talk about confidence and you talk about somebody is confident in their ability or with what they're saying, I get it all the time when someone says you're just absolutely arrogant, and I say, that's the way you want to view it. That's the way you want to view it.
I don't think that.
I don't think there's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. I think it's how somebody looks at it.
Exactly.
Personally, I think if I'm making a statement or I'm saying something or I'm so confident about what I'm about to do, and someone goes, "You're pure arrogant," I'm going to say, "Well, you don't know what confidence is."
Exactly.
It's not that I
and
don't
you're
know
not
what
putting anyone
is.
down.
No, absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. It's very misconstrued nowadays, and people just. A lot of people cannot handle people that are confident and that are out there, and they're like, well, you're not a lioness, really. You should show more vulnerability. Well, I have those moments, but I actually also have moments where, yes, I do feel really powerful, and I am really powerful. And I've proven that in many ways. Yep. So, you know, I mean, I'm saying me, and even people don't like the fact that if I talk about me and I and this, that, and the other,
but
I'm the brand for my business.
100%. And you have to be you. There is nobody that's going to come up to you and say, Fahima, you know what, guess what? You're amazing, you're powerful, you're confident in this. The only person that's going to do that to yourself is yourself. That's how you get your mindset to be somewhere so you can perform at the very top.
I'm just sharing this because a lot of the times, you know, I do a lot of public speaking and I do get feedback. And for me, I use it not as in anything that I don't take anything personal. I just use it constructively to maybe use it as another topic on my actual show. So for me, you know, I don't look at it as, oh, you know, I shouldn't be so confident now, or I should tone it down. No, because I'm going to be me and nothing's going to change that. If you can't handle that, then, you know, then I'm not for everyone, and that's fine. Which goes on to my next technique, you know, success technique, is the haters technique. Now we all have haters. And even more so when you're in business and when you're, you know, in some sort of career path that is going to a certain direction. Now, how do you deal with that?
Firstly, I don't like to call them as haters.
Okay, that's a good one.
I like to call them fans because they're watching every movement that you're doing.
That's actually true.
They're watching everything that you're doing. They're watching everywhere that you're going, what you're posting, what you're talking about, whether it be what you're wearing or what car you're driving or who you're walking with or who your circle is, who your friendship are. I like to call them more fans than haters because they're the people that know more about you than anybody else.
Absolutely. And sometimes they can make a point, which is actually you can use.
Yeah, because they know so much about you. That's how they've built up this hate inside them for them to come out. But they're also the people who lack a lot of confidence, who lack a lot of ability.
Or they probably wish they were doing something that you were doing.
Because they lack confidence, they lack ability, they can't build that drive in themselves to do what they like, not about doing what you're doing. So if there's people out there, for example, that I get it all the time that send me messages, oh, you're just a show off, you're just this, you're just this, you're just that, or you can't even do this.
How do you deal with that? Does that influence you?
It actually, to me, I take it all on board and it builds me, it makes me stronger. Builds me. There are certain times that I don't respond. I don't respond at all.
Yeah, no, you don't need to.
It depends on where I am or what I'm doing or what time I see it or what I've got going on. But at certain times I don't even respond and they come back saying, see, you're not even going to respond to me. I'm right, you're this, you're that. And I think, you know what, I'm going to ignore you. But when you start to get messages like that, when you start people telling you like this, I remember the previous company I used to work for, they were like, you're just a puppet. They're controlling you. They're telling you how to run the business. They're doing it any minute. They could tell you to leave any minute. They can do that. And I thought, you can think what you like. I started that business from ground up. I got it to 35 cars. I made 1.2 million pounds for them in the first year revenue. I did this, I did that. Without me, it couldn't have got anywhere. So if you think that they're doing X, Y, and Z, I'm going to let you think that.
There are different ways of dealing with people that will want to criticize or, say things that are negative towards you. If you feel that it's something you can use, then, allow it to, basically just be information and use it to your advantage. I always look at it as, okay, you've said something to me, I'm going to use that as my next topic. That's how I feel. And I've done that plenty times. Yeah. If anything and my mouth is shut, I don't really approach people. Unless they come to me with something constructive, I don't really give them my time of day.
Yeah, there's no need to give them the time of day.
I don't do that.
You take all the information in, whether you use it for it to be positive for you.
And I do look at myself and reflect though, because sometimes I do. It's not like I don't listen to them in a certain way, because if so many people are saying certain things, I do listen to a certain extent and I do adjust a little bit, but at the same time, it does not change me. Again, most of the time I find that I use it as a topic because I feel like if I want to address someone, I'm not going to do it personally because there's probably a few people thinking like that. So I use it as a topic and I will address it in that way. And then the other point is me just completely blanking it. And I don't allow it to even enter my thought process. And that's a lot of the times too, because a lot of this hating comments or, whatever constructive, criticism there may be out there, unless I find it valuable to me, I do not let it enter my space at all. And I'm very strong on that. And I don't even question it or answer back or anything. So that is very powerful in order to be knowing who you are and believe in yourself. And so that other people, they're always going to talk no matter what. Even if you are a particular way, they will always have opinions and make judgments. And it's very, very unlikely to find someone who is not going to judge you in any particular form and way. And a lot of people ask me, how do I cope? Because with my personal, professional, dealing with a lot of issues, because it does not affect me because I am built in a different way and not many humans are like that. So you have to have that strong mind and a strong sense of who you are and your foundations, and nothing and no one will rock it at all.
Totally agree with you. Absolutely. You can't let people, and we spoke about this on previous shows as well, you can't let other people change your mood or change your mindset because of how they feel or because of their insecurity, because something that they've seen of you. We call it hatred. It could be jealousy.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
Jealous of. It could be absolutely anything. But you can't let somebody else's thoughts or mood change your thought or mood or what it is that you're doing. So you can't let it get you. I mean, 100%, I sit down and I pick up my phone, and when I see messages like this and I read it and I'm like, okay, this is what you think. Okay, fine. You take it in board, but you don't let it affect you.
But you know
and you
what?
don't respond to it also as well.
You know, you said you've seen messages. Maybe that doesn't affect you, but what if someone comes and tells you straight to your face?
I've had it. I've had it. People tell me to my face.
Yeah, there is a difference in handling that too, right?
Yeah, 100%. I've even had it from friends or people that I know of, where they say to you, "Oh, why are you so arrogant in the way that you do it?" Or "Why are you so like this, you do it?" And I think, okay, that's the way you look at it. And I will challenge them back. I will, if someone's telling me to my face and it's someone that, for example, that I know, and they're questioning, I will challenge them back. I will question them back. I will tell them, well, why do you think that? Why do you think that? Okay, and I sometimes I say, flip roles here. Let's say you did what I did and this is what you did. How would you go about doing that? How would you go about doing this?
Everyone has a different personality as
Everyone has a different perspective of life and people do things in different way. That's why everybody is unique. That's why
why you're doing what you're doing and you're successful at it.
And if everybody was exactly the same and if everybody was doing the same thing, this world would be boring.
Absolutely.
Like there would be no challenges. If you don't have somebody that does things in their way, you're not going to be challenged. If I didn't have all my competitors doing things in their own way, my business would not be in a challenging place. I would not be in having to think, right, I need to step up my game. My team needs to step up their game. My drivers, my office team, I do. You know, things need to change. If my competitors are doing X, Y, and Z, I need to step it up. If I'm going to copy everything that somebody else is doing and not be me and just be a sheep, everything's going to be dull and it's going to be boring.
Also,
it's not going to work.
The way in which you do certain things, you know that your supporters and your influence, majority of the time, it is you, yourself, and you, right?
100%.
So when someone gives you those sort of opinions and sort of things, especially if you don't ask for it and you don't really want it, it shouldn't really have much effect on you because it doesn't have effect on your daily dealings.
No, but you also need to be surrounded with the right people who also give you that also as well.
Yeah.
And again,
that's what I'm saying, in the right way.
Yeah, in the right way. And I always talk about, for example, my friends. When I surround myself with my friends, they're ever consistently telling me, mate, you're doing amazing. You're doing great. What's next? What's new? What are you going to do? I mean, once we started filming these shows, I put it on social media, and I was at my friend's place the other night. We're talking about it, and he went, mate, when's the first show coming out? When is it being released?
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to watch it. And like, mate, you grew up with me. We've spent the last 30 years together. And he's like, but I want to know what you're talking about. So it's having the right people around you that build you with confidence. And again, I go back to my team at work in the office. Amazing team that I've got, because if I'm having a bad day, I'm having a shit day, or I'm under the weather, or something's gone wrong which I'm angry about, they also build me up. They pick me up. Whenever I fall down, they pick me up and they're like, Abbass, look, this is all the positive stuff that happened. Yes, this negative thing has happened. We've had a challenging day, a stressful day, or a situation today. But look, this is happening, that is happening. So you have to surround yourself with people. But exactly like you say, there is nobody more important than yourself that will pick yourself up, give yourself that boost, and give yourself that confidence. Nobody does it better than you do it to yourself.
And the right people will even give you that sort of constructive criticism in a good way. You know, where they're not going to be judging you. They're going to be like, you know what, they'll take you aside. They won't embarrass you. They won't, say something because they know you well enough to harm you and hurt you. And they will actually, call you out on certain things if it needs be.
Yeah.
So then that's different.
Yeah, but that's
but
the meaning
people
of
that just have opinions.
True people around you.
Exactly.
True people around you.
Will do that.
If somebody is turning around and saying to you that, look, I've been watching what you've been doing, and look, I analyze this, and this, and this. Because sometimes when you are moving at 125 miles per hour,
you are going to mess a bit. Yeah.
You may potentially step out of line. You may say something incorrect. You may hurt somebody's feeling along the way. And these true people around you will come up to you and say, listen, last week we were here. You said this. You kind of hurt so-and-so's feelings.
Yeah.
It wasn't right. We know you were in a different frame of mind. We know you were busy, or we know it was this, it was that. And sometimes you're going to have to stop and go, shit, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
And that's how you develop yourself as a person, because then you realize you need to go back.
And also, that person is analyzing what you've done, not judging you as a person.
Exactly that. But
because they
there's the difference. You either get the people that come up to you and go,
yes,
you're a horrible person. You said you said and this is wrong.
Yeah.
Or you get your true people around you that go, mate, look, last week
that wasn't you.
That wasn't you. Like,
that's
what was going on?
Exactly.
Like, and that's how you make sure that you surround yourself with the right people.
Absolutely.
So you do it the right way.
Absolutely. I want to end on a note, because this is something that I've done quite a while back now, which is NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I've explained at the beginning. And the reason why it's so powerful, because it can have rapid change in your way of thinking because of the the lens and the belief that we have. So the next tool is a few NLP presuppositions, and that means it's the way in which we have our limiting beliefs because of the way in which we think. So for example, when people think that failure is a failure, in NLP, these presuppositions, we have a list of them. I'll read out a few. And this is a tool which is really important because it gives you a different way of dealing with, failure. So instead of saying that failure is a loss or you're not good enough or whatever it is, it's basically saying that there is no failure, there's only feedback. So when you have these presuppositions that says things like this, it gives you a different way of thinking and believing and you responding. And the other thing is because people always say in business and in companies, we never really had the resources or whatever it is, that's why we failed or that's why we didn't do certain things. But when you have a belief that we already have the resources that we need around us to make it work at that particular time, then it gives you a different outlook and an outset as to how you're going to run your business.
Yeah, but you know what? That's also an excuse. If someone says, I didn't have the resources, X, Y, and Z, that's an excuse.
That's the thing.
Because if you didn't have the resource, you would have known about it from the very beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
If I don't have enough members of team to deliver something, I know that from the very beginning. That means one of either two things. I need to go out and get the right people, or I and the rest of the team need to step up.
Because you have that belief already. You see, a lot of people don't, and they use excuses. So these presuppositions, they give people, that a way of thinking and believing. So there isn't an excuse. Do you understand?
No, 100%.
And I think it's really powerful.
Just going to the point that you were making about failure.
Yeah.
I don't think ever is a failure. It's a learning curve.
Exactly.
If you've sat down and you've had an exam and you've failed your exam, you've learned.
Exactly. A lot of people don't see it like that.
You've learned. If I've gone and tried something, I've tried so many new things with my business, and I've sat down and I've gone, that failed. The actual what I wanted to do failed. But I've walked away from that process thinking, I'm never going to do that again because I've learned from that.
Yeah.
I've learned that that's not how you're going to do this. You were going to try a different avenue. You go a different avenue. If you fail that one, you hit a dead end on that one, you go, okay, well, that's not how you do it either. So there's no such thing as that it's failed.
Exactly. It's learning different ways.
People, for example, saying, I went into college and I failed and I'm a failure. You're not a failure.
Happens a lot with students. Exactly.
You've gone into college for 2-3 years or however long it is.
It's an experience.
You've experienced it. You've met different people. You learned different things. Your mindset changed. Your values have changed. You've grown as an individual. You've grown as a person. If someone went and did, for example, a job, or let's say, for example, and it might be a sore subject for some people, but if we use football for an example, Jose Mourinho just got sacked as the Man United manager and he got labelled as a failure for that club. He's walked away. He's learned from that. He's done it at so many different places. The club have learned from that.
Yeah.
Do we now bring in another individual who has the same mindset, the same mentality? You know what? No, because we've just learned from that. They might have done it 2-3 managers in a row with, Louis van Gaal and him, because they've got these egos about them that it's just, if it's not my way, it's not going to work. Whereas this new guy's coming now and gone, hey, you know the way to do it, and I'm just going to push you. And now they're winning games, and now they've changed their mentality. They're doing things differently. So it's not that you've failed, you've learned in the process.
Exactly. So that's why it's really important to learn these presuppositions. And this is just a few that I've highlighted. Because I think, if we are thinking in this way, then we can actually resolve more problems. We can actually have more solutions for things. We can be more positive. And the other thing is, we can have better understanding and we can actually move to the next level. Because a lot of times when certain things happen to us and hits us, especially when we are, in business and in our careers, we can be sort of stagnant because of this limiting belief that we put on ourselves. And these presuppositions allow us to open up our perspective, open up our lenses, and have a new way of thinking to get us to the next level and to strive through even in difficulty. And I think it's really, really powerful. And that's especially a tool that I will advise people, to come and talk to me. You can reach me, on the link, wherever it is, and after the show that you will see, and yourself, and, ask these questions, because this is really important, if you feel you cannot get to the next level. And when you're in business, and especially when you're in a company, you might feel that, I'm not doing so good, or I'm not getting so far, or I'm not communicating well. There's an answer for everything. And at that moment in time, you have all the knowledge you need, but you just got to keep growing by reading more and looking out of the box and not being so comfortable, because a lot of the times we are set in our ways because there's no urgency. We wait for that moment to hit us if we're going to be redundant or if some economy is going to turn over. But we got to prepare ourselves before those times.
Absolutely.
And that's when you become even more powerful as well in your career and your business.
Exactly that. But you know, you say you're taking time and you need to reflect, you need to do this. It's some of the reflection techniques that we spoke about. Those are the best times when something has gone wrong, or if you think you failed, and you're not looking at it as a learning curve. Because there's been plenty of times something's gone wrong, and I've sat there and gone, shit, that was a failure. We failed. That failed. And then after a period of time, you sit down and you go, okay, I learned from that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that again. This is the way that I'm going to do it. You talk to yourself, you know, you look at yourself and you spend some time with yourself. You talk to the people around you. I talk to you, for example. We're having a conversation 3 days ago, was it, or 2 days ago, when I rung up and I was like, it's all going wrong. I'm walking against the wind. I'm walking against the tide. It's going wrong. It's all going wrong. And you stopped me and you went, hold on, what actually is it? So it's the time that you actually stop and you reflect and then you realize that, you know what, it's not all that bad. You're not getting to the wrong place. Absolutely. You're learning the process as you go along, and that's what makes you grow. That's what made me grow as a person.
Yeah.
There's no way that I could have gone from my first job at the age of 16 working for BMW within, well, what am I now, 31, 15 years to be my own company owner and be able to do something at such a young age, because I still think 31 is young.
Of course it is.
Not everybody does that.
Yeah.
To do that without knowing, okay, I've gone through all these challenges. You know, my first managerial job I had was at the age of 21, and I had people working for me that were in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they looked at me and they went, you think we're going to listen to you?
Exactly.
You're 21 years old. What do you know? So, you know, that was a challenge in itself. And I felt really insecure, and I felt uncomfortable, like, have I got into a job that I shouldn't be doing at this age? But then I thought, no. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going to take my team. I know where I want to take this company.
You interrupted that negative and that doubt that we normally have wired in us. And that's what I work with people to actually help them do that, to, you know, interrupt that internal dialogue that they have in their
exactly
mind.
That. But yeah, going to the point, what I was saying is, like, even that whole time, is a whole journey. And you're learning and you're growing and you're experiencing. And, you know, some of the techniques that we spoke about, you told me that I was already doing, but without even knowing, because I didn't know what they were called, or I didn't know how you portray them. But that whole experience that I had in my business life, for example, from the age of 16 to where I am now, I've learned every step of the way. You know, you've picked up, we were talking about having a role model, you know, and like I said from the beginning, there's not one individual person I've looked at and gone, I want to be just like you. Because I don't want to be like anybody. I want to be me.
Absolutely.
But you pick up from every step of the way. You learn from across the way. You get there. You surround yourself with the right people. You build that all up, and then you become your own person. You become your character, and then you get to places where you want. And that's how you stay positive.
Well, we've covered like 30 techniques, you know, in this, you know, this season has been amazing. And, you know, to be honest, it's not just you learning. I've learned a lot listening to you as well.
I've been learning a lot throughout the whole 10 season, you know, the things
and
that
it's
you've
been
told me.
amazing. And I'm sure we're going to have you on more, you know,
Thank
seasons to come with different topics and different areas. And is there any final thought you want to leave before we end?
I think it's just really for the viewers really that are watching. I think not only obviously is it great for you to be able to pull some of this information that Fahima has shared, or some of the discussions that we've had, to be able to take it away with you and learn from it and grow as an individual. But make sure you subscribe and make sure you stay tuned and you keep watching the rest of the seasons that are going to be coming. I know I will be, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot that I'm going to continue learning from you as well.
Absolutely. Well, I will be calling you back. That's one thing for sure, definitely. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been useful to you all. Just remember that even though these techniques are something that you might have heard before and practiced before, but it'll only work if you truly believe that you can do something for yourself. And you can actually take that upon yourself to do the action. Not just think about it, but actually take the steps. And you will succeed and you will reach the next level and achieve all your outcomes and desires. So hopefully we will see you in the new season. Take care and thank you for watching. See you next time.